Hi, I'm Marco, and today I'm going to be reading some of the hottest classical literature paired with some of the hottest hot sauces I could find. To begin with is the classic Canterbury Tales, and from which the infamous Miller's Tale, and paired with which I'll be drinking Dave's Gourmet Ghost Pepper Hot Sauce. Fair was this youthful wife, and therewithal, as weasel's was her body slim and small, a girdle wore she, barred and striped of silk, an apron too, as white as morning milk, about her loins and full of many a gore. White was her smock, embroidered all before, and even behind her collar round about, of coal-black silk on both sides in and out. Now, just speeding ahead to, I can't take too long on this. Speaking of a parish clerk later, Chaucer writes, but truth to tell, he was a bit squeamish of farting and of language haughty-ish. Okay. On to the next. Marcel Proust's Sodom and Gomorrah, a landmark novel from 19th century France about homosexuality, largely, and Proust's grandmother, like the rest of In Search of Lost Time. To go with it, I have to bomb Beyond Insanity. In this excerpt, one of the main characters is having a secret rendezvous with his younger male lover. The narrator is overhearing what happens. I had been in Jupien's shop itself, but I was afraid of making a noise. Moreover, there was no point. I did not even need to regret having taken several minutes to get in my shop, for to judge by what I heard in the early stages from Jupien's, which was simply inarticulate sounds, I assume few words were uttered. It is true that these sounds were so violent that had they not constantly been taken up an octave higher by a parallel moaning, I might have thought that one person was slitting another's throat close behind me, and that the murderer and his resuscitated victim were then taking a bath in order to erase the traces of the crime. For which I later concluded that if there's one thing as noisy as suffering, it is pleasure, especially when there is added to it failing the fear of having children. Oh God. Finally, from T.H. Lawrence's Women in Love, a classic excerpt about two men. Oh God. Oh. Is it going? No more hot sauce. Finally, from D.H. Lawrence's classic Women in Love, two men and something that looks like love. Well then, said Gerald, shall we strip and begin? Will you have a drink first? No, I do not want one. Neither do I. Gerald fastened the door and pushed the furniture aside. The room was large. There was plenty of space. It was thickly carpeted. Then he quickly threw off his clothes and waited for Birkin. Skipping ahead. So the two men entwined and wrestled with each other, working nearer and nearer. Both were white and clear, but Gerald flushed smart red where he was touched, and Birkin remained white and tense. He seemed to penetrate into Gerald's more solid, more diffuse bulk, to interfuse his body through the body of the other. as if to bring it subtly into subjection, always seizing with some rapid necromantic foreknowledge of every motion of the other flesh, converting and counteracting it, playing upon the limbs and trunk of Gerald like some harp wind. It was as if Birkin's whole physical intelligence interpenetrated into Gerald's body, as if his fine sublimated energy entered into the flesh of the fuller man, like some potency casting a fine net, a prison, through the muscles into the very depths of Gerald's physical being. I hope I've made classical literature seem a little less pretentious and more fun, accessible, and spicy. Thank you.